1. Video Calling Technology, Season 6, Episode 19. 2. Lisa's Wedding. One of the most remarkable instances of The Simpsons seemingly predicting the future comes in the form of video calling, featured in the episode Lisa's Wedding, which aired in 1995. This episode takes viewers on a journey into the future, imagining what the Simpson family might look like in the year 2010. While the show features many futuristic elements that were far beyond the technological capabilities of the mid-90s, it was the depiction of video calling that truly stands out. In the episode, Lisa is seen communicating with her mother, Marge, through a video call. This wasn't just any simple phone call, it was a fully interactive face-to-face digital conversation, allowing Lisa and Marge to chat despite being physically miles apart. At the time, the concept of video calling was still a far-off dream, a technology more commonly seen in science fiction films like Star Trek or other futuristic TV shows. Back in 1995, the internet was still in its early stages, and the idea of making video calls over the web was not even on the horizon for most people. Fast forward to 2010, and The Simpsons' fictional predictions started to feel eerily accurate. In that year, Apple introduced FaceTime, a feature that allowed iPhone users to make video calls to one another over Wi-Fi. It wasn't the first attempt at video calling, but it was the first that brought the technology into the mainstream for a broad consumer audience. Before FaceTime, video calling required expensive equipment or was only available in very specific business or governmental contexts. Apple's implementation made video calling a part of everyday life, and it quickly became one of the hallmark features of the iPhone and other smartphones. The uncanny nature of this prediction has led many to speculate whether Steve Jobs, Apple's co-founder, had been inspired by The Simpsons' portrayal of the technology when conceptualizing FaceTime. Although there's no direct evidence linking the show's creators with Apple's development of video calling, it's interesting to note that the predictive element in The Simpsons often comes from the show's ability to observe and satirize trends before they fully emerge in reality. In this case, the show didn't just predict the existence of video calls, but the cultural shift that would make them ubiquitous, just as it had accurately foreseen other technological innovations in the past. The episode goes beyond just showcasing the technology. It hints at how seamlessly it could integrate into everyday life. In Lisa's future, she uses the video call to talk to her mother in a casual, everyday conversation, reflecting the way that, in the years following FaceTime's launch, video calls became a natural extension of communication for many people. Whether it was for casual family chats, work meetings, or catching up with friends across the globe, video calling has now become part of the fabric of mod days. The timing of this prediction is also key. In 1995, video calling wasn't just a technological novelty. It was a futuristic idea that seemed years away. But by the time 2010 rolled around, it became clear that The Simpsons had once again glimpsed the future. This wasn't the first time, nor would it be the last time, that the series would make such eerily accurate predictions. But it remains one of the clearest examples of how the show has been able to tap into the pulse of what's to come. For fans of the show, this instance was just another in a long line of moments that showcased The Simpsons' uncanny ability to foresee technological advancements, cultural trends, and even political events. While some may dismiss these predictions as coincidences, it's hard to ignore how often the show's portrayal of the future ends up coming true, sometimes with remarkable precision. This moment in The Simpsons also serves as a reminder of how rapidly technology evolves and how things that once seemed impossible, like video calling from your mobile phone, can become a staple of modern life in a matter of years. In many ways, The Simpsons tapped into the imagination of its audience and captured a moment of technological optimism, one where the future looked bright, with possibilities like seamless digital communication. It's easy to look back now and smile at how simple and predictive the show's portrayal of the future was. But in 1995, the idea of FaceTime wasn't something we could even dream of in practical terms. Yet, The Simpsons gave us a glimpse into that future, and in doing so solidified its reputation as the show that sometimes does know what's coming next. 2. Disney acquires 20th Century Fox, Season 10, Episode 5, When You Wish Upon a Star. One of the most striking examples of The Simpsons' ability to predict future events comes from the 1998 episode When You Wish Upon a Star from season 10. In this episode, Homer Simpson unwittingly stumbles upon a secret retreat near Springfield, owned by Hollywood stars Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. The couple, tired of the constant glare of the paparazzi, decides to keep their getaway in the small town a secret. Things take an interesting turn when Homer, in true Homer fashion, spills the beans, revealing to the public that Hollywood celebrities are living near Springfield. This sets off a chain of events that brings the Hollywood elite to the quiet town, and eventually, the show's writers sneak in a much more subtle but highly prophetic moment. As Homer's involvement with Baldwin and Basinger's hidden retreat leads to some outrageous antics, the episode cuts to a scene featuring a sign outside of the 20th Century Fox studios. The sign reads, "A division of Walt Disney Co." The moment is a brief but significant detail in the episode that no one could have imagined would one day become a reality. In the context of the show, this satirical take on Hollywood's power struggles and corporate mergers was just another way for the writers to poke fun at the entertainment industry. However, what made this moment so remarkable is how, less than 20 years later, it became a reality. In 2017, Disney completed a landmark acquisition of 21st Century Fox, the parent company of 20th Century Fox, for an astounding $52.4 billion. This purchase was one of the biggest and most significant mergers in the history of the entertainment industry, reshaping the entire landscape of Hollywood. The acquisition gave Disney control over Fox's vast library of movies and television shows, including the X-Men and Avatar franchises, and properties like The Simpsons itself, which Disney would eventually acquire as part of the merger. This move not only changed the balance of power in Hollywood, but also led to the creation of Disney Plus, a streaming service that would become a direct competitor to other services like Netflix and Amazon Prime. At the time of the merger, many people were taken aback by how accurately The Simpsons had predicted the outcome of this corporate acquisition. It was a moment of perfect satire that transitioned into a historical business reality, and the fact that it was presented in a comedic way made it even more remarkable. The episode had aired almost 2 decades earlier, in 1998, when the notion of Disney buying out Fox was far from anyone's radar. In the late 90s, Fox was still an independent powerhouse in the entertainment industry, and Disney was mainly known for its animated films and theme parks. The concept of Disney purchasing a major studio like Fox seemed far-fetched at best, but The Simpsons didn't just predict the acquisition. They also predicted the very nature of Hollywood's growing consolidation. The idea of major studios and entertainment conglomerates swallowing up one another was already becoming a trend by the late 90s, and the show captured that essence, even if the specifics were decades ahead of their time. The fact that The Simpsons so accurately depicted the future of Hollywood's corporate mergers speaks to the sharpness of its writers. Over the years, The Simpsons has been able to identify patterns in the entertainment industry and wider global trends, using satire and humor to comment on things that, in hindsight, were incredibly prescient. This foresight has led many to wonder whether the writers had some kind of hidden crystal ball or insider knowledge. However, the more plausible explanation is that the show's writers were simply paying close attention to the patterns of big businesses and corporate power plays, as well as the growing dominance of conglomerates in every aspect of modern life. The 2017 Disney-Fox merger also has significant implications for the future of media consumption. The acquisition granted Disney access to an enormous catalog of films and TV shows, consolidating even more control over the content that reaches viewers. With the rise of streaming services and the ongoing battle for consumer attention, Disney's purchase of Fox was not just about gaining new intellectual property. It was about securing a larger stake in the ever-evolving world of digital entertainment. In many ways, this deal mirrored the vision presented in The Simpsons years ago, where corporate mergers were a key part of the media landscape. It's interesting to note that The Simpsons also predicted the consolidation of media companies in other episodes. The show often made fun of corporate greed and the monopolization of the entertainment industry, but the reality of Disney buying out 20th Century Fox took this concept to a new level. In the years following the merger, many fans took to social media and news outlets to marvel at how the show had nailed this prediction. with some even joking that the Simpsons writers might have been tapping into some sort of supernatural foresight. Of course, this wasn't the only instance of The Simpsons accurately predicting future events in Hollywood. The show has also made incredibly accurate predictions about technology, politics, and pop culture. But the 20th Century Fox acquisition stands out because of how it touched on corporate power and the immense influence of conglomerates. The deal has had lasting effects on how content is created, distributed, and consumed in the modern entertainment industry. In conclusion, while The Simpsons was never meant to be a documentary on the future, its uncanny ability to predict major events, like Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox, has made it a fascinating cultural touchstone. The show continues to resonate with audiences because of its ability to blend humor with deep social commentary, and in this case, it provided an insightful and comical look at how the entertainment industry would evolve. Just as the characters of Springfield navigated their zany world, so too did The Simpsons predict the real-world corporate battles and mergers that would reshape the landscape of Hollywood for years to come. 3. President Donald Trump, Season 11, Episode 17, Bart to the Future. In this episode, set in the future, Lisa Simpson becomes the President of the United States following a financially disastrous presidency by Donald Trump. At the time of airing in 2000, Trump was a businessman with no political experience. However, in 2016, he was elected as the 45th President of the United States. The show's portrayal of a Trump presidency was both a satirical prediction and a cautionary tale. 4. Smartwatches, Season 6, Episode 19, Lisa's Wedding. In the same episode where video calling was featured, Lisa's fiancé, Hugh, uses a wristwatch to communicate and manage tasks. This depiction closely resembles the functionality of modern smartwatches. While wearable technology existed in 1995, the concept of a smartwatch as we know it today was not yet realized. By 2015, companies like Apple and Samsung had introduced smartwatches that allowed users to make calls, send messages, and track fitness, mirroring the functionality shown in the episode. 5. Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show, Season 23, Episode 22, Lisa Goes Gaga. In this episode, Lady Gaga visits Springfield and performs a concert where she floats above the audience while singing. In 2017, during Super Bowl 51, Lady Gaga's halftime show featured her descending from the roof of the stadium while singing Bad Romance, closely resembling her performance in the episode. The show's depiction of her performance was a strikingly accurate prediction of her real-life appearance. 6. The Ebola Outbreak, Season 9, Episode 3, Lisa's Sacks. In this episode, Bart reads a book titled Curious George and the Ebola Virus, which is an odd choice given that the Ebola virus was not widely known at the time. However, in 2014, an Ebola outbreak occurred in West Africa, leading to widespread media coverage. The show's mention of the virus years before it became a global health concern was a chillingly accurate foresight. Collider.com. 7. The Discovery of the Higgs Boson, Season 10, Episode 2, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace. In this episode, Homer attempts to become an inventor and is seen writing equations on a chalkboard. One of the equations resembles the mass-energy equivalence formula, which is related to the Higgs boson. In 2012, scientists at CERN announced the discovery of the Higgs boson, a fundamental particle in physics. The show's inclusion of this concept years before its discovery was a remarkable example of scientific foresight. 8. The 2015 FIFA corruption scandal, Season 25, Episode 16, You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee. In this episode, the characters discuss corruption within FIFA, the international governing body of soccer. In 2015, several FIFA officials were arrested on charges of corruption, leading to a major scandal in the world of sports. The show's portrayal of FIFA's internal issues was eerily prescient. 9. The launch of the Apple Watch, Season 6, Episode 19, Lisa's Wedding. In the same episode featuring smartwatches, Lisa's fiancé, Hugh, uses a wristwatch that functions similarly to the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch was introduced in 2015, allowing users to send messages, make calls, and track health metrics. The show's depiction of a multifunctional wristwatch years before its release was an impressive prediction. 10. The U.S. men's curling team winning gold. Season 21, Episode 12, Boy Meets Curl. In this episode, Homer and Marge join the U.S. mixed doubles curling team and win a gold medal at the Winter Olympics. In 2018, the U.S. men's curling team won the gold medal at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, defeating Sweden in the final. The show's prediction of this unlikely victory was an amusing and accurate foresight.